So in case you missed it, Dave Portnoy, the owner of Barstool Sports, one of the biggest media organizations in the world, got out of Bitcoin lately. This only comes a few days after he made a move to get into Bitcoin and into crypto. He met with the Winklevoss twins who run Gemini, and he bought some Bitcoin and he bought some Link. Now listen close. This is the biggest mistake he is making as a Bitcoin investor, to jump in, try to time a 5 or 10% pop, and then jump out immediately when it drops. This is the biggest mistake a Bitcoin investor can make. If you want to see the clip on why he got out of Bitcoin, check this out.
I'm out on Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin people are in my dick, calling me a pussy, saying that I didn't have the stones for this game, that I'm weak, that I'm a fraud, that I'm a joke. And let me say this to the Bitcoin people. First of all, the Winklevoss, the two stocks, it wasn't the Bitcoin, even though I consider them all Bitcoins. It wasn't the major big boy Bitcoin. I bought that. It went up. People got excited. I was in. It went, like I said, I think I bought it at 11.5. It went up to like 12.5, just like we knew when I got in. And then I turned my head for a second and people are selling it. But that's not the one that got me. And that was by far the most money. I was probably up 150 in Bitcoin at one point.
Now you might be asking yourself, why does any of this matter? Why does Dave Portnoy getting into crypto matters? And you're partially right. It doesn't really matter if Dave is into crypto, but I do think it's a positive if you have these very high engagement, very highly followed, he's millions of followers across a ton of different platforms. He's on CNBC constantly. He has an insanely huge army of day traders that follow him for stock picks. And I think it's a big reason why a lot of people are trading stocks right now. You see all the money that's being made. You have people like Dave, who's very influential, getting more people into trading stocks. That's a good thing for Bitcoin and crypto if he can generate that interest. It's not the end of the world if he's gone, but I think this is relevant to everyone out there who's going to be in a similar situation as Dave. When I was on CNN last year, they brought me on to talk about the biggest myths with Bitcoin and the problems that keep people from getting invested. And I think one of those things is that people are constantly looking to make a quick buck. They don't get exposed to the best performing asset for the past 10 years, and then they get out, right? You miss the opportunity to be invested in something that's doing so well, is set up to perform incredibly well over the long run based on the macro environment, just because of the short-term volatility. Here's my CNN clip. I try to describe it as best as I can.
I think the biggest thing that still gets brought up and maybe is misunderstood or not known is how well Bitcoin has done. Even this year, a lot of people still think that everyone's underwater on the Bitcoin they bought. There's only been maybe 3 months, I think at the end of 2017 up until January of 2018, that Bitcoin traded higher than where it is today. And we hit 13K earlier this year and have 3X nearly in value. So there's still this stigma that everyone is underwater when in fact it's been the best performing asset for 5 years, 3 years, and this year.
I mean, that's fascinating, isn't it? I guess some part of that is the sheer volatility, and it depends where, as an investor, you got in here, because you could have bought high and sold low, unfortunately. But your point is, if you look over a longer period of time, you're still up.
Certainly. I mean, there was a very small window where, yes, if you did buy the top somewhere between November and early January of 2018, then yes, you're definitely underwater. But I think that gets overblown, and it also kind of keeps investors from getting into an asset that's been uncorrelated to other assets and has also performed this well.
We'll come back to that.
So that interview is from last year, but the topic is incredibly relevant for what's happening today. There's going to be people, maybe you watching right now, that look at Bitcoin, try to time it, get in, see a 5 or 10% dip, and then get out and miss a chance to be invested in an asset that's been uncorrelated to other assets, will probably continue to be less correlated to other assets than stocks are, and has also performed this well over 5 years, 3 years, this year. Every single year, Bitcoin continues to soak up more value for people that are looking to store their wealth. The macro environment is going to be very supportive of this, with central banks continuing to print money, continuing to ease, and people need a place to store their wealth where everything else is abundant. Bitcoin is the only truly provable scarce asset in the entire world. So Dave, if you're watching this, get back into Bitcoin. If he isn't watching this, I need your guys' help. Share this one on Twitter, on Facebook, or share it to whoever needs to see it. I think it's really going to help you in the long run. Hopefully it helps Dave out. I know he's doing well already with stocks, but I think he can make some money in the Bitcoin space as well. If you guys enjoyed this clip, like and subscribe right down below. I have a lot more topics coming your way, trading strats, charts, anything you want. Drop a comment down below. I do want to see what you guys want. I want to have it covered. And also check out the crypto.com app. They sponsor these daily videos so that I can bring them to you guys. Download it on your phone right down below, the easiest way to buy Bitcoin. You can also earn interest on the assets that you hold in your app. All right, that's all I got with the video, guys. I'll see you soon.